Kratos, the god of war, scourge of gods, a slayer, a father, a triumphant pillager of innocence, but as well a pillar of hope, a god truly worthy after going down a path of unfortunate insanity, but has went down the biggest heights of undeniable triumphant and glory. First is Asura, famed demigod of unimaginable wrath, a man with boundless strength, an untamed fury, a fallen 8 guardian general and technical deity with a mantra immeasurable with the potential to absolutely annihilate the fabric of his world, a father, a husband, a brother, a commander, and most importantly a protector that has seen the entire fundamental world that he fought for broken, but even then would fight for it dearly to see his dearest child never cry again. A father's wrath is the most undeniable, most powerful when natural action, and he solidified that with being so much of an undeniable powerhouse of unimaginable fortitude to be able to fight his deiform creator and actually strike down all possible foes that he once called brother or sisters in arms to make the world that he dearly fought for. His wrath was not just because, it was fueled by love. 2 case of protagonists that not only are my favorite of video game, with Asura being my absolute favorite protagonist of all of gaming, and easily one of my favorite protagonists of all of fiction. A fight and debate that I technically already talked about for people that are not new to this channel, and the technical means of debunking the arguments and mainly response to the YouTuber Classic Man D. But now, I make this video and get a request by somebody to actually more definitively full layout, wide and full form, why, in the case of the title, would be, if not for an epic title, really lay a true interesting topic of discussion for the case of the game Kratos versus Asura. Why, in the battle of Kratos versus Asura, battle of the Mad Fathers, why it is completely not close. Hope you guys will enjoy. If you're new here, please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know more versus battles you guys will want in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let's go and get it in. Asura, the demigod turned into a wrathful pillar of might. Standing for duty, principle, and purity, he fought on the side of a vast empire heaven, standing against the great demonic force known as the Goma that terrorized the planet Gaia. He fought as an 8 guardian general, a demigod born into play with the power of basically a chi energy force that made him the arcana of wrath incarnate, a literal Kyle Shin in every essence of demonic force. But he fought on the side of good. He was the hothead, but he had a beloved wife. He had a brother-in-law known as Yasha, and even though it could have been a greater good with the infinite potential of his daughter, who was a priestess that gave literally hope, power, and instilled the will and virtues that other people did not have on the battlefield. He did not want his daughter to be a tool, and he didn't want his daughter fighting on the side of a very brutal warfare that was the fight against the demons. But instead of actually respecting his wishes, his fellow comrades, aka the kin of family, and the other demigods, aka guardian generals, including his brother-in-law, literally inadvertently not only betrayed his own fucking niece, but as well his literal sister, a snake, even if he once was seen as a brother to Asura. Literally disregarded everything he did. He was slaved by their surrogate, Zeus, head honcho, the commander, who no longer was seen as a commander, but literally King Deus, as they no longer were the 8 guardian generals that became the 7 deities. Asura was crashing down to earth, sent down like a literal blazing meteor, but then came back from the dead with fury in his eyes, re-invoked his memories, and became a walking behemoth of retribution, getting vengeance back for his wife, getting vengeance for his daughter, and being a living representation of don't fuck with nobody's kids because they might come back more stronger than ever. Asura's wrath, indeed, eternal and unyielding. Besides the arguable glaze, this man Asura has stood against the most impressionable odds to be seen as not only walky and ridiculous to possibly higher in scale, but he scales to the most ridiculous opposition and is the definition of a warrior that stares death in his eyes and literally would go about full means of thrashing his cheeks beyond compare. The famed bringer of devastation to all opposition. At lowest end, he would be multi-country to multi-continental, of shaking literally the planet and or as well crossroads, standing against the core of not only the Goma and Viltra, the dark demonic force, with his brother-in-law, who became brother again after realizing the disgusting foul that was being going on, to force a little girl, even as a priestess, to give hope to the warriors fighting alongside her, to be literally a slave bound to the Brahmastra, which pretty much is a citadel that empowers all of the, hopes and faith and prayers of the mortals, right? In this sense, right, even being a little bit empowered by his own daughter in chain, he was able to help in defeating this being and literally purifying the planet. In this case, this would easily be a low end, that type of feat, but you could easily get this to be planetary as well. With that being said, he defeated Wise, aka Big Fat Nigga, right? Who literally tried to go a meteor clamp him down with one finger after turning into, by all accord, the literal size to even bigger than the planet. He went about with building up a bunch of kinetic energy, blowing him apart and literally disintegrating him, which easily is a large planetary feat, but all the calculations put on screen, the fact that he takes up not only a planet, he takes up a moon, and even mixed argument by every other accord, literal multiple upon multiple possible suns, if he is that big to where he encapsulates not only Earth, but the moon, could get easily a dwarf star level feat at bare minimum. But then multiple times overscaling over multiple people that scale over Wizen, he would easily, after vanquishing August, killing Karo, killing literally the man that slayed his own wife for no reason, absolute fucking edgelord, and as well scales over Yasha, who's able to scale to something that was said impossible capability, to also defeat Viltra, and Viltra as a being would scale over all these 7 deities in general at face value. That indefinitely would make him multiple times a multi-dwarf star level to large multi-dwarf star level character at bare minimum. But then this comes Chakravartin, the original mainline seen as person to pretty much be OP for a lot of people in the mixed video game eyes, as he literally is an evil version of Buddha, the top dog, the man that literally created everything that you see in Gerudo and Asura's Wrath, the pretty much Omni Lord. But in this case, Chakravartin wanted to go about reinstating a new means of order in this world and pretty much absolving all of the world, as he feel like it is not coursing the way that he planned it and or wanted, absolving literally everything that Asura fought for right then and there. With that being said, Asura will go about the means of showcasing not only impregnable will, not only the most ridiculous love for his daughter, as not going to disregard what he fought for, disregard what he literally bled, killed, and dripped tears from his eyes for, disregard the entire memory and whole configurement of the most boundless fury that can never ever be quenched. He's not going to let some random guy claiming to be the creator define the world he made for his daughter. Which, because he's defining world as this would easily, without a shadow of a doubt, make him easily a universal-like person. As again, you have to remember that because world in this case in Chakravartin's plan, especially as the, seen as almost omniscient in his world, greater stem creator, it would translate to a world more than the case of obviously, just a planet. He throws multiple things at this dude that would be way beyond a planet, which is the consistent multi-dwarf star level stuff. He's destroying literal suns, stars. He inhabits multiple galaxies behind him, which should get him actually multi-galaxy. Just off of that, he scales over multiple things this man Chakravartin does. That is at low end represented here, but when he pops out and does greater stuff, and as well says other things that can imply more, which I'm going to get into, and the fact that again he's seen as the the creator of this world in context universe, universal AP to even higher greater universal, is scaling over his true greater form, this black and gray Oreo crayon built ass supreme version of him. This would easily slate this man Chakravartin as a being of ridiculous magnitude off rip within his being in this context. So for the statements about him being as reasonable, yes, seen at face value as evil Buddha, he does have statements about saying that he is the god of the wheel of life, and a bunch of different intricate different conversations of concepts and different unique tales of Buddhism, Hinduism, and multiple different plague of different unique takes and tales evolving not only Asian multiple form of religion, mythology, folklore, and even legend. All these different tales and different tangles of that could very much sum up this man Chakravartin being from easily low multiversal to even complex multiversal, as being a god that transcends all different atmospheres of life. And this would be the lowest scale play to where you would see someone like, you know, Buddha scale to, other people that scale these different manifests of this, and even a low-balled Sun Wukong. But if it's an obvious, Chakravartin, even though his maybe intention is to be in baseness to this character, does not demonstrate any feats on that level in truth, and is just a statement that, very much like other statements in different contexts, does not demonstrate him to be on this. And I have greater case of, you know, explaining this in my shameless plug, Kratos vs. Asura video, or debunking the arguments for Kratos and Asura's video, which is where this greater talks come from. But even then, if you want to say that he is at that level just because of the statement in play, aka more saying that he's a god of multiple multiverse and hypothetical perspective, when talking about mixed bag worlds, you can get him to that level possibly. When it comes down to speed, he easily should be multiple times faster than light at multiple high-end ray of shit, you know, scaling to the speed of somebody crossing the moon at a pretty ridiculous distance and then coming down to Earth, scaling to a guy that literally blitzes around light back to back, blitzing around different firelight, crossing from literally Earth to a surrogate planet in itself, and as well literally breaches multiple doors for ridiculous, massively faster than light speeds consistently across the board. He as well, because of the fact that he was able to scale all around Naraka, which is pretty much the underworld or akin Tartarus of his world, he was able to literally scale over infinite pillars and literally escape a place that has a infinite, you know, space and obviously width and entire construction. He was able to transcend this place, which is obviously universal, as it's a form of, you know, afterlife, which is more consistent, you know, universal stuff, easily right there to considerably say, as, you know, he's beyond someone, you know, like this man Chakravartin, who created that, not just by bare minimum, but the fact that he scales over that, right, world in its speed and is able to clear an infinite size place, that would easily make him be infinite speed at a bare minimum. Some other mixed scale speed that people have tried to say is that in mixed Chakravartin's mixed hacks to possibly slow down time or do some mixed possible gravity or force implication capabilities. Have tried to say that he slows down time, and this man Asura reacts to that. Not only is that a very mixed kind of flimsy, wild like stretch of speaking, because not only does the way he do it not represent stopping time at face value, because not only is Asura, right, still moving, and he doesn't even slow down time consistently, as you, Asura, are still able to react to him when he pops back to go about attacking you. And even in some occasions, Asura cannot even react to this. So I would even say this is an indefinite hack, or him possibly being, you know, inaccessible, you know, able to react to somebody in the mixed time skip of time and distorting time, or even a guy that's beyond time being immeasurable. I think infinite is very much more concrete and consistent, and stretching to those bars is unbelievably just wank beyond compare. I talked about this man Kratos multiple times. Just gonna get this out the way with no details speaking. The simple fact is that Kratos absolutely smothers Asura. He's way beyond him in every threshold of cosmology. Different forms of showcases on screen that I talked about multiple times of this man Kratos in multiple videos, and my shameless plug, debunking the arguments for Kratos versus Asura video, showcase multiple times in different occasions within his verse, cosmology wise, and base this in comparison with inspiration from his individual case of not only mythologies, folklore, legend, mixed perception, religion, and every aspect that makes this man Kratos what he is way beyond the comprehension of Asura. That's because no matter how you stretch it, even if you did try to stretch this man Asura to scale to the low end case of not only line of what possibly someone like Sun Wukong, other people, and then base this for this man Chakravartin to reckon in the case of what Buddha governs in the wheel of life, even though there's no actual showcasing and strong reasonable base to actually assume that he's the god of the wheel of life in the same aspect within Asura's own cosmology, when comparing mantra to the intricacies of all the dimensionalities and different tale of different not only concepts and other congruent actual foundations are a lot more concrete individually within Buddhist count of different deity and worship and virtue, that should not put them on those same levels. And even if you did, I could put the same level of hyperbole form of not only wank, that's my doorbell, and hyper case of not only back-to-back mental gymnastics to the same level as this man Kratos with multiple showcases. So it doesn't make sense to say that. Kratos is way beyond him in speed. He easily scales from inaccessible to immeasurable by being able to scale beyond time, not being bound by time, be able to exist in finite to zero time, be able to scale beyond time and space, literally boot between mixed different talking dimensions, exist in a plane not governed with time or space, and be beyond the comprehension of multiple people that seemingly, when time is distorted, being messed with, altered, or simply being beyond any even concept and qualm of infinity or even time, is able just to be beyond an omnipresence level of claim. And the fact of the matter as well is that a game scales more concrete to the case of the low multiversal, the complex, heavy multiversal talk, especially regardless of it being Norse saga or Greek saga, but especially with Greek saga, where you can use the power of hope to ridiculous form, has the Blade of Olympus, even though you get the Blade of Olympus to this man Norse saga Kratos as well, the experience, the accolades, the gods, everything makes this man Kratos be way beyond his comprehension. There is no actual argument for Asura to be on the same level as Kratos, and I don't think I really need to say more. Everything's in the pudding to say that he's beyond. Even if you equal the stats, as much as I love this man Asura, and I do think it would be a cool clash, and there's already been a death battle, there's already been talks and discussions for eons about this fight, it could be interesting. But the fact is, I can't really see Asura beating him, because reasonably Kratos cannot die, he cannot destroy conceptions, no matter how much his wrath, his anger, his means to die, and the possible fact that even with absorbing all the mantra, life force, and entirely conception erasing and mixed different folds of this man Asura, possibly, depending on how you stretch that, he could come back, like I said with my video against the Tarnish with him. It doesn't change the fact that he still could conception erase him, even if he can't actually push past that from having a unsurmountable means of wrath. He still, again, can be killed through physical killing in multiple occasions of not only hacks the different tell of that, even with the mixed different tell and continuement about strength, wrath, who has the better case of power source to push them beyond. This man Asura's, again, unimaginable wrath, or this man Kratos' inaccessible means of hope, both of them having an indomitable human spirit, willpower, unstoppable forces, an absolute built different beast beyond wicked proportions. It doesn't change the fact that, again, Kratos, because of experience, greater weaponry, inventory, repertoire, objective skill, and as well resume with gods, would be way beyond the comprehension of this man Asura, making the entire fight be a one-sided match, not close, and not in any case of the way something to argue. Again, it can only possibly be mixed contingent if you equal the stats, but even then, as I provided, there's no real argument to say that he could be on the same level as the famed Ghost of Sparta, the candy cane of Olympus, and most importantly, the true, common, reasonable person. I hope I made it clear now within this video, not even as long as the other ones, but it is simple. He's just not in the same league, and I've given Asura everything that you could try to say, and no matter how you try to wank it, be again either the AP, speed, this man Kratos would be beyond, no matter what you do, equal stats, not. Kratos is just dozens of times way beyond the comprehension of him. Kratos wins, obviously, with no problem, even if the case of, you know what I'm saying, the stats are equal, but I believe that easily the fight could be a mid, maybe stretch high diff. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, Marvin. Love y'all.